What's up, brothers? It's Spencer with Live Bearded, and welcome back to Beard Questions, our latest video series where we answer all things beards. Today's question: how to trim your own beard. Now, I know beard trimming the thought of it is scary to most of you guys, me included when I first got started, and trust me, I've made just about every mistake out there. But with a few tips that I've kind of learned over the years, I'm gonna make it a lot easier for you to get a great beard trim at home. The purpose of this video, we're gonna show you how to line up your beard, how to shape and style your beard to make your beard trimming experience a little bit easier. All right, before I actually get into the beard trimming process, the lining up, the shaping, I wanna lay down a few kind of ground rules. You want to style your beard first. Now, you don't want to get out of bed with bed beard or after you've been at the gym and your beard's all over the place and try to trim your beard. Your hairs aren't going to be laying the way that they will on a daily basis. So I always recommend styling your beard first, combing it out, letting it set into place so you can actually see what your beard's going to look like on a day-to-day basis and what you actually need to trim off. So when I first wake up, my beard's kind of sideways. If I were to try to trim it in that state, I would be trimming away hairs that I don't need to trim off. So by styling it, I wash it after the gym, jump in the shower, use a beard wash, get it nice and clean, apply my oil, I apply butter, of course, wax my mustache, and comb it out. By doing this, again, my beard is set up, it looks pretty decent, and I can really see what I actually need to trim off. Now, the other big thing that you have to consider is don't be in a rush. Take your time. Measure twice, cut once, we've all heard it, but if you make a mistake trimming and hack something off, it's gonna take months to grow it back. So you wanna really block off time, designated time, so you can really be focused and give your trim the proper attention, the time that it's gonna need, so you're not in a rush and you can get it right. I always recommend finding a routine. Like for me, I like to trim my beard on Sundays, doing some chores, I'm at the house, I'm not in a rush, I'm not running out the door trying to get to the office. Block off time, so for the next 20 or 30 minutes, all I'm doing is trimming my beard. All right, so now that you've blocked off some time and you've got your beard styled and set and looking great, it's time to get trimming. Now, the first thing that I recommend doing when you're trimming your beard is to create your lines or to line up your beard. And what I mean by that is your top line, your back line, and your neckline. And this is extremely important when you're first growing your beard out in the first month or so to define these lines so you can really set the foundation for what your beard is going to look like as it grows. It's gonna give you a much cleaner look, much more presentable look, and really just make it look like you give a damn about your beard and not just letting it grow wild and kind of unkept and unruly. So when it comes to these lines, to start with the top line here, you're gonna need electric beard trimmer. And for this top line, what you're really trying to do is just connect and clean up any rogue hairs that grow above the bulk of your beard. Now, I haven't trimmed this in about a week. Try to touch these lines up every week just to kind of keep it nice and tight. But really what you're trying to do is just any hairs that you grow above where the bulk of your beard. So my beard here grows on my cheeks, fairly high. There's a couple of hairs that start to grow up here, some blonde ones here, you got some darker hair here. I like to just clean these up, and by bringing this down to uniform shape, this is just gonna really give you much better definition, make that line a little crisper there. The idea here though is to keep it as high as naturally possible. So if you have a few hairs, but at the bulk of your beard, keep that as high as possible. You don't want that line to creep too far down, or it'll kind of pinch your beard and make it look a little tight there. So again, just trimming any of these tiny little rogue hairs above the bulk of my beard, from the sideburn to the mustache, keeping it nice and natural. You can obviously do this with a straight razor and actually shave it down to the skin if you want it even tighter. But for me, at my length and my beard, just trim these down with the trimmers, gets it tight enough. Now, my hair grows pretty even left to right. If you have a cheek that grows a little bit higher, for example, this one has a little more hair, but trim this down. You want to get the lines pretty even. Pretty straightforward. All right, the next line is going to be the back line. Now this one, in my opinion, is the hardest one to do just because if you have any kind of growth, it's hard to kind of see around your beard to see this area, especially if you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So this is going to be your best friend. This little mirror is gonna allow you to see yourself, right? and see what you're doing back here. So what you do, pick one of these up at Walgreens, CVS, anywhere, a couple bucks, and you're gonna really allow yourself to see what you're doing here. And the idea is to essentially just run a straight line off the back of your sideburn. So as you can see on my beard here, pretty natural for this to start to creep back. Got the back of my neck here. These hairs, if I let this grow all natural, this would start to creep back here and would just, not really look right. So what I like to do is really just kind of clean this line up and run this off the back of your sideburn and kind of clean some of these hairs that again are starting to creep towards the back of the neck. I didn't really take this line too far forward. You just kind of want this to run kind of naturally back here. Guys, again, going back to take your time, you can always go back for a second pass. So what I like to do is kind of get it, check it, see where I'm at, reset, go back after it again. The other thing that I'll point out when you're doing this with a mirror, if you're trimming your beard and you're looking straight in the mirror and you turn and your neck is stretched, it's gonna skew the way that this line works. So if you want a side profile, you need to turn your body with your head, right? So that you can see, that's why the second mirror is so nice. So you can see kind of how this line is running back here and then run that straight down. Now when we get to this corner, if you want to square it off, if you're looking for a box style, at the corner here, you can do a hard line or you can round this more, it's personal preference. But if you're looking, even if you're looking for square, this doesn't have to be a perfect point. You can have a little roundness to it. Just kind of play with whatever style you prefer, kind of what works best with your beard growth. And then the third line that you need to trim in is gonna be your neckline. Now, this one, honestly, most often goes wrong because guys trim this line much too high. So my jaw is actually up here. If you're looking to grow a full beard, you need the neck hairs to give you the foundation, give you that bulk and that fullness as your beard grows longer. So this line should really be connected where your head connects to your neck. My Adam's apple is here. It's typically right at or just above the Adam's apple, and then as your beard grows longer, you can allow that to kind of creep down a little bit lower. If you're going for a full, like super long beard, you can actually just really let that grow natural and just focus on the top and the back line. But I like to still clean these up, kind of disconnect the beard from the chest beard. So that's how you line up your beard. Those three lines, again, run through it, take your time, and that's gonna really just define your beard shape. Now it's time to actually trim your beard. All right, the first place we're gonna get started here is gonna be in the sideburns. It's amazing how quickly these can get overgrown and how much they impact the way that your beard looks. If you do nothing else in your trimming except for take care of the sideburns in this top line, it's amazing how much better your beard can look, how much more kind of put together and cleaner it can look. So what I like to do is take electric beard trimmer again with these guards, and what you're gonna really do is just take some length off. I like to go a little bit tighter here and then kind of fade gradually blend longer length into the beard. But one thing that I like to recommend is grab your guard. Before you actually trim, do a dry run. You can see the hairs, get closer here. You can see the hairs going over this section. Well, those are the hairs that are gonna get trimmed off. So if you wanna kind of gauge how much you're gonna trim, you can run up the guard before you actually start cutting and see. All right, that's not gonna take much off there with a 4. So I'm gonna start there knowing I can take it shorter. And I've got my plug-in bigger clippers here, primarily because I can go much bigger on the guards if you wanted to blend lower into the beard. But there's tons of options out there. Just make sure you get guards, make sure you do the dry run first. And again, I'm just doing the sideburn. Not really taking much length off there. A little bit tighter there. I could probably go a little shorter. My hair is a little longer on the sides right now, so I don't want these to be too tight. So it kind of blends into my hair. Drop to a 3. And you can see just kind of how this puffs out a little bit more, just that little bit tighter, keeps it a little bit tighter, elongates, kind of makes your face A little bit thinner here and elongates out. And that's probably pretty good. Again, don't want to take them too short, but got a 4 through the lower section of the sideburn, 3, and then a 2 at the top. So I've got the sideburns cleaned up, got my lines relatively even. Once I trim this, I'll go through and just double check my lines here. But at this point, it's really time to just trim away the flyaways and really work on the bulk of the beard. So it's lined up, sideburns are clean. When you're trimming your beard to actually give it shape on the actual bulk of your beard, you really want to treat it like a hedge. So again, use your clippers to even this area on your cheeks out, and the rest you want to work from the outside like you're trimming a hedge, and just sculpt your beard back. So really you're just trying to trim any of these kind of long, crazy flyaways that get a little wild. Trim these down. You know, this area for me grows a little bit wild and kind of sticks out, so I like to keep it the weight out of this area, keep this tighter, so that again it kind of elongates the shape and the look of my beard. I always also like recommending, you know, I've got product in, I applied my butter and oil. I always comb up and out. What this does is kind of adds volume to your beard, and I just kind of do this when I first style my beard, do it a couple times throughout the day just to kind of get it back into place. But that really has a nice impact on kind of the fullness, the way that your beard sets up. But you're gonna work from the outside and really just trim away any of the flyaways, some of these that kind of wisp out. Trim these down, treat it like a hedge, take your time. What you want to do when you're looking at this, you want to look on this straight on to see kind of what you need. And as you turn kind of your face, you can see, so you kind of work around and get multiple angles as to what hairs are really sticking out. And this will allow you to, again, kind of sculpt it down to where it's nice and kind of uniform and in place. This side didn't need as much. This side was sticking out a little bit more. This side grows a little differently than this side, so everybody's beard, your beard's gonna be different. It may grow up on one side, down on the other like mine. It may, you know, have some sort of cowlick or curl to it or flip. So if you have a wave or a flip, you wanna treat your beard kind of specific to you, of course. Use these principles. If you have some hair that flips out, you can trim that down. And you may not need to trim it as short on this side. So kind of check in, that's why you treat it like a hedge, and just whatever hairs are kind of going wild and out, you're gonna pull those back in. If you're just getting started trimming at home, definitely pick up a good set of scissors. We've got an awesome pair. The reason the scissors are so great is because he really forces you to take your time. You still want to treat it like a hedge, but you can literally come in here and get one hair at a time, which allows you to be much more meticulous and literally just kind of sculpt this thing a lot slower. It forces you to take your time. So I definitely recommend, if you're just getting started, to use scissors. And then as you're getting more comfortable with the trimmers are a little bit faster, which is why, for the sake of this video, I used them. But again, same kind of theory here. Work from the outside, treat this, and you can get pretty quick at this thing. Now, when it comes to the underbeard, you really just want to even out any of these hairs that start to get a little wild. Shape this, even these out so where you get a nice, even underbeard line. And that'll again bring uniform shape to your beard, make it look a lot fuller and healthier. And that's really about it, brothers. So lines, top line, back line, neckline, clean up the sideburns, and then treat your beard like a hedge. Make sure you get the underbeard to kind of bring everything into uniform shape. That's really about it. Now, it's going to feel awkward at first. I promise you it's going to be easier with time and practice. Get those reps up. It's going to become easier. But again, I can't stress it enough. Set aside time. Make sure you can really focus and take your time so you can get it right. If you have any questions, guys, here at Live Bearded, our mission is to help beardsmen look, feel, and be their best. That's why we create these content, these series, these videos. That's why we put this stuff out there, is to try to help solve your problems, answer your questions, and help however we can. So if you have any question about this, please reach out anytime at support@livebearded.com. If you haven't given us a try, brother, I invite you to do so. Head over to livebearded.com, grab yourself some products, and I know you're gonna be blown away. So let us know how we can support you, and as always, live bearded, brother.